Hello. Pretty sure I am live. Let me go into Facebook Live to make sure. Yes. So I'm going to share this out. And all right. I see people starting to join now. So thank you for joining me. For those of you that have never joined me live on social media pages, we are about a 15 to 20 second delay from what's coming out of my mouth and comments back and forth. And I talk fast, so I will do my best not to ramble too much. Yesterday, we did a seated workout on the vibration plate. A vibration plate is just an environment that accelerates exercise benefits, and for many, many people, makes exercise possible. It's a very low impact alternative to many traditional activities. Today is day 2. We've got 3 days of deb. Yesterday was seated. Today is standing exercises. I'm going to kick your butt a little bit. We're going to do some, maybe not advanced, but some intermediate leg work. For those of you looking for more challenge, if you've got some hand weights or some kettlebells or whatever your thing, I will be incorporating some dumbbells and some ankle wrist weights in tonight's workout. We are not using the chair today. I'm just sitting on it because I have it here. But if you are joining me and you're pushing yourself and you're getting started before the new year, you may want to have a stool situated behind your machine, maybe for fatigue. Maybe you need to do a bit of the routine seated and standing. Regardless, I do commend you for joining today's session if you're just beginning or progressing to standing, because that's the path I hope for you. Tomorrow on day 3, we're going to get down on the ground, so there will be range of motion required for tomorrow's session. And for those of you that are just joining me now, please, if someone could comment and let me know if you're seeing and hearing me okay on the other end. I usually get complaints if you don't, but just let me know and I can do a check and make sure I'm getting through messages. If you want to make a comment and you are joining me on one of the private groups that I may have shared this through, make sure that you hop over to where this main feed is occurring, which is the main Lifepro Fitness page, their public page. And that is the one source where comments will come through to me on this end of the live. So before I get started, I wouldn't mind if somebody could pop on here. I see a whole bunch of people just logged in here quickly. And Merry New Year's Eve. I don't know what the proper terminology is. I keep saying Merry Christmas Eve, but it's not. It's New Year's Eve. So I thank you for spending some of your time with me tonight. Well, I am going to get rambling because it is a few minutes after 6. And if for any reason I'm not coming through on the other end, somebody please just reach out and let me know. So today I am working on Lifepro's Rumblex Plus model. It is probably one of my top 2-3 recommends. Why, Debbie? I do a lot of functional training. I do a lot of rehab. I deal with a lot of chronic issues. And becoming more functional or improving your function, your independence, whatever you're trying to improve. Somebody said hello. Hi, Patty. Thank you. Appreciate that. If you are joining me and you joined me yesterday, man, you're in for torture listening to me for 2 hours in a row. But thank you. I look forward to, what am I doing wrong here? Why do I have no power? Just a sec. Because I'm not plugged in. Give me a second. One moment, please. I'll plug you in. Plug you in. There. Where was I rambling? So the Rumblex Plus is one of several Rumblex models. The Rumblex models are a little larger. They incorporate multiple movement styles. Just like yesterday, I'm all about teaching you the basics. There's many new users. A lot of you got deals over Black Friday and rolling into Christmas. So I always do my sessions in the foundational, the main movement, which is oscillating. Oscillating moves like a teeter-totter, very much mimics how we walk across the floor. And the reason I recommend, if you're considering a Rumblex, you want more bells, more whistles, it's got a flat surface. There are some designs now that have that slight curve. And if I were to describe them, I would consider them more on the high end if you're looking towards athletic training. You're a conditioned athlete and you're going to be doing athletic training. If you've got hypermobility, weak joints, replaced joints, I want you functional, which is flat. The curved surface presents a little bit more resistance. So it kind of naturally pushes you inwards and you need to have adequate strength to resist that challenge. And it is more challenging. So if you're going from a flat surface machine to a curve and all of a sudden you're pooping out and you're sore, your muscles are being worked in a different fashion. So to start your machine in oscillating manual mode, we're not playing programs or anything. We're going to hit the power button. And on every Lifepro model, the default movement when you hit the play button is oscillating. So just for illustrative purposes, you can see and you can hear things are shaking in my voice. For those of you that did not join me or haven't seen any of my sessions in the past, I don't offer frequencies or programs or cookie cutter solutions. I want to empower you with the basics of how you control your experience in the environment of what the machine creates. So the biggest lesson I want you to remember as we work through our exercise set is the intensity. How strong it feels is very much a personal experience. So before we get into what is the best for this and that, you'll notice my feet aren't all the way out at the edges, which is traditionally what you kind of see online and in the book. There is no one way to use a vibration plate, but because I cater to a lot of chronic issues, I prefer functional movement, and I want to teach you the control piece. And the control is not going slow or starting slow. It is reducing the amount of movement. So the amount that the machine is pushing you up and down, wider is more. And I know everything's shaking along in here, but the machine's not going to do all the work. For today's set, I want your feet hip width apart. Perhaps when we get into some of our squats, you may be more comfortable in a wider position. But if you're just doing basic standing exercises, just moving some lymph, you're just doing some relaxation, hip width apart is your best approach on the plate. But because you've reduced the intensity, this mentality of starting slow, I would really like you to throw out the window. My plate in oscillating mode has 60 speeds. I want you working in a mid-range. Right now, I'm right in the middle at 30. When your feet are a little bit closer and you're not worrying about trying to remain stable under a massive amount of movement at the outer edges, you'll notice when you get going a little faster, it's a bit smoother. It's less choppy and less jarring. And if you're dealing with just being deconditioned or you're fearful or you got some old football injuries, I think you'll find the combination of closer feet and a little bit faster speed or a mid-program is going to feel more soothing, more relaxing. And with that, you're set at a mid-speed range. You pick the number, but within the middle spaces. And bring those feet hip width apart. I want you to do just a little posture check with me. So in a standing position, you want your knees slightly bent. There are exceptions to every position. There's lots of ways to modify. But ideally, you're standing nice and tall, straight spine. Your tailbone is tilted slightly back. If you're tilted forward, we're slouching. You can sort of see my angle change in the mirror. So tilt that tailbone back. If you were looking at me sideways, there'd be a line from my shoulders to my hips to my ankles, okay? And the first exercise we're going to start with is just what I refer to as some tilts, some very basic pelvic tilts. Pelvic tilts are a great way to warm up the core, improve that range of motion, mix it up from just standing here. You can do little hulas, whatever. I just want to loosen things up in, below the chest to the top of the knees. And what this is going to do long term, maybe you deal with back issues or range of motion issues. when you're using a vibration plate in any way, shape, or form, there are what are referred to as perpetual or forever benefits, things that occur every time you use the plate, whether that's for a little bit or a lot. So boosted lymphatic movement, boosted circulation. It's going to boost your balance, your stability, improve your flexibility, your range of motion. So not everybody works out on a vibration plate. Many of my medical facilities use it as a 2 to 3 minute pre-post thing. You know, a vibration plate from a clinician or a medical standpoint, it kind of presets or pre-charges your central nervous system. It activates it and it becomes more responsive to the activity that you undergo next. So many of my physical therapists working with, neurological conditions, special needs, they'll put someone on a plate for 2 to 3 minutes just to get the balance improved, the stability, relax the muscles, boost that blood flow to reduce injury. So there's all kinds of reasons. If you're not now doing a little bit of a warm-up, that was a little bit more of a warm-up, to do so. If you're coordinated enough, I like to do for each exercise today, I've rambled a bit, about 1 minute per pose. When we're talking athletics, if we're not fatiguing within a minute, we need to make it more challenging for you. So I'll get into that with squats. So we're going to add to our pelvic tilts a little bit of upper body movement. I don't care if you're flapping your arms like a duck. I like to do the Peewee Herman if I'm not dating myself when I do my pelvic tilts. Ooh, I'm just reaching forward, back. Take those glutes, and when you're moving forward, clench them. When you're in the back position, you almost feel a little arch in that back. Just improve that range a little bit, okay? So that's it for the warm-up. 1-2 minutes if it feels good. We're going to move into a squat now. Working out or getting substantial fitness gains on a vibration plate doesn't mean you have to do 15, 20 elaborate exercises and it be this big thing. You can kill yourself in 5 minutes and get the same amount of physical fitness benefits as you do a long workout. It's about making your exercises more challenging. I got a bad knee, bad attitude sometimes, so I prefer for my lifestyle more of a HIIT style approach, hard, intense, short, be done fast. If you're building more for endurance, specific athletic, performance training, that may be different. So with a squat is probably the best exercise that you can learn if you're beginning fitness. It's going to engage the large muscle groups in the thighs and the quads. It's going to burn calories. It's going to boost the metabolism, but it's going to make things like getting down on the ground and getting back up, it's going to improve the range of motion. So that's why I want you to learn squats too. So a squat, when you first start out, it's kind of like you're getting ready to sit in a chair. You want about 70 to 80% of that mass on the heels, like you could almost lift up the toes. You want to make sure that posture, that spine is still nice and aligned, that core is engaged, and you can just hold still. You don't have to move up and down. And if you're not doing squats regularly, the technique in an environment that makes it more challenging probably isn't the best place to start the meanest squat you ever did. I want you focusing more on good technique. And once the technique gets there, then we can get crazy and add weights and other things. So listen to any deficiencies. If you've got a bad knee, bad back, go to whatever your low point is and just hold. And I want you to count to 3, maybe 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're not done, stay where you are. Maybe you just come up a little bit. Maybe you go a little bit deeper. But I think you'll find through static exercises, you're going to learn kind of where you feel it. What areas am I hitting? Am I shifting my weight and making one side work harder than the other? You can kind of more pay attention to where you're feeling it versus moving so fast. Cardio, I know, is a very important component of fitness to many of you. And a lot of people think, you can't get cardio on a vibration plate. Well, I assure you, you'll be huffing and puffing a bit after this. Higher volume of muscular fiber is being recruited when you're using a vibration plate. You're activating those fast twitch to a degree. So part of the reason you fatigue faster is we're recruiting overall more muscle fiber, but all these little micro movements of the plate are also still boosting that lymph circulation, challenging the balance. Your body is required to do more than if you were just doing that same exercise on the floor. Okay? So if you're not burning yet, so for those of you that want more challenge, I'd like to present one variation on the squat. So I showed you yesterday my brand new, they don't even have dog hair on them yet, Lifepro ankle and wrist weights that come with the new Flex Vest weight vests. There's two sizes, there's a men's and a ladies, but they both come with this set of ankle weights. So for those of you that are wanting to burn calories, you want to boost bone density, adding mass is a really, really simple, effective way to take the same exercise that you just learned and got really good at and make it harder. So by adding more mass, these are 5 pounds each, so I'm adding 10 pounds to my frame. So just by adding more mass to that same exercise, my legs are burning harder. But, maybe I want to work my arms at the same time. Maybe I'm doing some bicep curls. Maybe I'm doing some bent over rows. Maybe I'm doing some side raises. There's a bazillion exercises out there. And if you're doing some of them now, try them on the plate. It's fun. And it's more effective in the long run. For those of you that work out regularly with weights and you really want to pick things up, part of the other reason I recommend a Rumblex, or at least the Turbo or the Hovert, if you're looking at fitness, true fitness activities, many of you do like to add weights. So the larger models, the models that incorporate more than one movement, tend to have heavier weight capacities. So the Rumblex I'm working on today has a capacity of 500 pounds. So if I wanted to pick up, I'm totally cheating today. I'm only using 5 pounds each. It's been a long day. But, I got 2 90-pound set of dumbbells. I've got 2 55 pounds. I've got a barbell. For my guys that like to lift and do their training, maybe you're maintaining over the holidays, adding the weights, the technique, the things you're already doing now in the environment of your plate, you decide how much challenge you want in those exercises. Maybe you are adding some dynamic movement. If you want to move and it feels more natural, make it very purposeful, slow, purposeful movements. Maybe we're doing raises. Maybe we're doing curls. Maybe we're doing front raises. I knew I couldn't do that with 10 pounds. It's been a long day. So just adding a little bit more mass to the equation is going to go a long way. For those of you, maybe budget doesn't allow or space doesn't allow, and I don't have fancy weights around the house. Go into your kitchen and find a bag of rice, get a backpack, throw it in. Adding mass doesn't mean you got to go buy a whole bunch of weights. Maybe you've got a little 2 or 3 year old and you can do a piggyback while you're doing your squats. Add mass how you can. There's always a way to get creative with things that are around the house without having to invest additional money in things like this. However, if you are considering, I know I just threw that. If you are considering making a purchase, I would have to say that the best type of weight to incorporate with a vibration plate, it's kind of a tie. Certainly a set of adjustable dumbbells makes it easy so I like to change weight sometimes depending on the exercises that I'm doing. But I've really enjoyed, as of recent, using the weight vests. I can do my planks. I can do some of these other exercises down on the ground to incorporate the mass where, with my barbells and my dumbbells, I'm kind of just restricted, obviously, to holding them in my hands. So let's move on. And I would like to cater to some of my cardio junkies. So for those of you that are wanting to add a little bit of heart rate, you're probably feeling kind of warmed up, maybe huffing and puffing a little bit. We're going to get into some step-ups. So step-ups are a pace game. So if you've never moved around while using your vibration plate, you might be nervous, might be a little scared. If the balance isn't there, maybe put something in front of you, a chair back, my trusty dusty stool, something like that in front of you if you do need something to hang on to. Okay? For those of you that got game and you're doing this kind of thing all the time, double that time. Get some music going. Get some tunes, right? Maybe you're doing this as your warm-up before you get into the squats. Step-ups, not jumping up and down. What's going on here? I just had a big restart here, guys. Are we back? Hello? think we're okay. But yeah, step ups are a great way, very controlled. We're not jumping up and down. For those of you that are dealing with joint issues, you may want to be going a little bit slower. Things like that. Work at your own pace. I like adding a little bit of a twist. So when I'm doing my step ups, I tend to come up to a squat, come back down. Squat, come back down. And yes, of course you can add your weights to that transaction as well. So for my workout junkies, okay, I gotta be real coordinated now. So, right? I'm gonna hit the wall if I do swings. Whatever your flavor, it does take a little bit of coordination. It really depends on your style. I want this to be something that is not so foreign to you that you're going to be turned off from experimenting and trying. But if you're doing floor-based exercises now, you've got a routine. Adding a vibration plate is a great way to just incorporate additional benefits for sure. But it's also a really good opportunity for you to, have more holiday time. It's that time of year where we're probably not going to the gym and doing our routine as regularly. So your plate is a great way to keep those functional fitness, whatever exercises you're doing going, but reducing the amount of time that you have to spend doing them. For the longer term benefits, the strength, the bone density, consistent weight bearing use is absolutely essential. If you're just, standing here going through the motions, your body's return on the benefits is going to be the bare minimum. If you're bending, trying, pushing yourself a little bit, the muscles are having to work harder. They're going to respond by getting stronger than the bare minimum. And the bones have to respond by laying new osteoblasts because they have to respond to the pressure you're putting on them. So if you're just going through the motions and going longer and longer and longer and longer, you're going to see some benefits. But if you want sculpting, toning, you want real results, better function, more balanced strength, try progressing, not just on time, but in the difficulty or the type of exercises that you're doing. So usually, and I've talked a lot today, guys, it's been a couple days for me. I do a rep. So instead of, doing longer and longer in each exercises, I would now repeat my 2 or 3 exercises. So I started with a very basic squat and I held that for 2 to 3 seconds. That's all I can hold right now. So it's been a long day. But perhaps you do another set of step ups, right? But if I don't feel done after all of this, I kind of push one more mean squat, the final squat. And I push myself, your range of motion usually improves. And I'm not suggesting you go as low as I do, but I go to my low point and I make sure that I'm finished. And I have a bad knee, so that's usually as low as that I can get. But if you don't feel fatigued, do another set of the exercises. Add some more mass. If the goal is to get to fatigue fast, I like to use the minute mark, even in my squats, my push-ups, whatever it is that I'm doing. If I'm not fatiguing within a minute, I like to make that exercise more challenging for me personally. And this is what becomes really hard. I know I sound a little frustrated sometimes when I'm answering your questions in the VIP group, but most of us don't come from a big elaborate exercise background, or we wouldn't look at vibration machines and all these hacks. Life's busy and maybe you got kids and hockey games and other things. So a vibration plate, the reason I think so many people are having success with them is it can reduce the time, but it can also be the feel good, the symptom management tool for those days when maybe the fitness isn't, just on your mindset or physically just not possible. So yesterday we talked a lot about recovery, the wellness benefits, those type of things. But it can absolutely be a killer fitness tool. But I find most of the people I start working with, if you don't have an exercise background, again, I stress, do not make it complicated. A big 15, 20-minute workout and the word itself is demotivating. It just scares you away. It's all foreign. 2, 3 good exercises will take you much further in the long run. Oh, just a moment here. Sorry, guys. I'm having all kinds of technical glitches here tonight. Where did my daughter plug this in? Oh, 2 moments here. Sorry, guys. There. Okay. So I do want to do, before I start taking questions, which I will be doing momentarily. Oh, what is going on with Restream? I'm very sorry. This Restream service tonight is testing my patience. Okay. So before I get to questions, I want to give you just a couple of very quick standing recovery exercises. So maybe you are going to the gym, you're doing other things, you're running around, you know, back's bugging you, you've been sitting too much, having too much cocoa and cookies by the fire. So when I finish my workouts, I tend to be feeling it lately in my low back. I'm getting back into some planks and some crunches because, you know, the summer body is built in the winter is what I'm told, right? So, but I am finding I'm lifting and I'm doing more things than I should be lately. So my low back, there's a bazillion ways that you can target the low back, and I'm going to show you a really awesome low back massage tomorrow. But for today, I'll leave it. The low back exercise I like to do in a standing position. And for those of you with limited mobility dealing with spinal issues, this is a great way to get in to not only the spine, but the low back and that hip area. Because we are targeting the spine and not our butt and our thighs, I want you to reduce the intensity just until you get into the position, and then you can decide how much intensity you want. So bring those feet a little bit closer. The heels are the point of contact. So you see how my feet are kind of V'd a little bit. My feet are about 3 inches apart at the heels. I'm going to, from my basic stance where the knees are bent, I'm going to stand up and, yes, lock the legs. That's one of those cardinal rules that I like to break once in a while because there are exceptions. And what you'll find by leaning forward at just a slight 45-degree angle, you can see that better in the mirror. All of a sudden, instead of the vibration being felt here, the stimulus, we are leaning forward and we're feeling it in that hip and that low back. So that pelvic tilt that we were doing in our warm-up, you know, just tilting forward, arching up like a cat, coming back. Again, if balance is a concern or I've pooped you out, maybe have a chair in front of you, a low back. So when I'm doing my squats, actually, sometimes I kill myself, and instead of stopping, I just come up into this position and use it as a bit of a rest position. But it is great for recovery. It's also great on its own for just a minute or two. Maybe, you know, you sit at your desk all day, or you've just overdone it, or maybe you have chronic back issues. One of these for a minute or two is a great way just before you head out the door. You know, loosen those muscles up, get them primed. As I said, it primes your central nervous system for what you're going to do next. So if it happens to be sitting in a chair for the next 10 hours, give that back a little attention before you head out the door. It's a great way to use the plate. The very last exercise is a little bit challenging maybe for some of you. We're going to do a toe touch. We're going to do a toe touch 2 ways, but I'm going to give you an option if this scares you. So take your chair, your stool, have a child stand there. If you do want a little bit of guidance, have a stool or a chair in front of you. We're going to lean over like we're doing that low back thing, but for some of you that are doing this exercise, you know how you naturally feel like you just want to keep going. So what we're going to do, we're going to lock those legs again. We're going to come just as low as our range of motion allows. None of this bouncing. If you're fearful, just give yourself the chair to hang on to. Go to your low point, relax the head, and just take 2 or 3 deep breaths. Okay, then I want you to just slowly start rising. Once you get midway, just bend those knees slightly. Okay, I like to do 2 or 3 reps. For those of you that just want to mix it up, or perhaps you're dealing with balance and stability issues and you're trying to improve them, try turning sideways on your plate now, and you'll feel, instead of this side-to-side movement, you feel like you're being pushed forward and backward. Position your heel in the center of the plate. That's what drives the amount of movement. You'll feel once your heel is in the middle, you're moving, but not a lot. If you move back an inch, you'll feel that push become much, much greater. So start here, and let's see how we do first. So same thing, locking those legs. We're going all the way down. And guess what? You're going to have more range on rep 2. I guarantee it. Hold 2, 3. Slowly come back up. Bend those knees again. I just love doing that one. So just a variation on a theme on that last one there. For those of you that are dealing with sciatic, we sit too much, touching your toes is a really great way to just stretch those hamstrings, those calves, all of those muscles down the back of the legs at the same time. And tomorrow in the massage set, I'm going to show you a way to massage. So we're hitting the cellulite and all that troublesome stuff, but there's lots of ways you can stretch while seated on your plate as well. So again, tomorrow is about range of motion. It is required. But for those of you that are aspiring, keep working on those squats. Those squats are going to improve that range of motion. They're going to make you stronger. They're going to boost the circulation, the lymphatic movement. They're the best bang for your buck as far as improving that range of motion long term. Okay. So now that we are done, I'm going to come. It's question time. And tomorrow's session is tentatively scheduled at the same time. So I hope to be on time tomorrow evening. Tomorrow, maybe just bring a yoga mat or something for a little bit of padding if you are going to join me for the massage session tomorrow. So I need a drink of my coffee. Let's see who came to see me. And if you are joining me, please make a comment. Let me know where you're from. I'm always curious who's a new user, who's an experienced user. And as of recent, if you've learned something new from me today or you've had an epiphany in some way, please let me know. Sometimes, I think I'm expressing the right information. I can't tell you everything every session. But if there's gaps in the information that I'm sharing you, something you want me to elaborate on, I invite feedback on any of my sessions. So first of all, hello to Patty. Thank you for the sound check. Hello again, Betsy. Nice to see you. She says, thank you for watching tonight. Wishing you and the family best wishes for the new year. Thank you. Looking forward to learning more from you in 2026. For those of you that do not follow me, a lot of people follow me on Lifepro. I do have my own personal pages, and my stuff's a little bit more brutally honest. I have specialized in vibration plates for longer than I can even remember, and I had the good fortune of getting into the industry when there was no Amazon, there was no online deal sites, none of this existed. So I learned the grassroots, the true research machines, and I've been through all the industry and all the home machines, and sometimes it gets a little more complicated than it needs to be. So for those of you that have gotten a plate recently and it's still in the box, all I hope to do with my sessions is dispel some fear and get you confident to get that thing out of the box and get shaking. So you've got 30 days. You'd give a medication 30 days to give it a chance and see on its effectiveness. So I'm asking the same with your plate. Get that thing out of the box. If you're fearful, watch my session from yesterday. You don't even have to stand on the thing, but I do want you to get a level of understanding and comfort with it. And I think the sooner you do that, the sooner you realize, you know what, this is pretty cool. And I'm not really so scared anymore. Who else is here with me? Oh my goodness, it's Miss Kim Wilson. Are you back on the island? Kim is my dear friend out on Vancouver Island that has done some traveling recently. So nice to see you. Angela, Happy New Year. Simone, Angela, nice to see you. Happy New Year to you as well. Carol Brown, nice to see you. Thank you for spending a portion of your New Year's Eve with me. You guys motivate me as much as I hope to motivate you. So, and me showing up for these sessions is part of my accountability. We're all human. So I enjoy these as much as I hope you do as well. Irina Rudd, I think I said that right. Happy New Year to you as well. Kathy Schniller, Dietrich, I can say, but I'm not sure if I botched the middle name there. Happy New Year to you as well. Heidi is here from Oakland, California. I know you've been here before, Heidi. Nice to see you. Carol Brown, again, so encouraging from Iowa. There's an amazing doctor. I'll think about it. Dr. Terry Walls, for anyone with MS in your area, I believe at the university there. She's done some amazing research on nutrition, food as a medicine, and she herself is a Lifepro vibration plate user. I'm glad this is encouraging. If you'd love to give me some feedback, I'd love it if you guys gave me some feedback on how I've helped you today, how I could help you more. Like, as I said, gaps in the information. Be wary and cautious when you're reading online. There's lots of marketing masquerading as research. I think that's a comment I made in last night's session. And a lot of people come at me trying to educate me. And, everybody knows it's 40 hertz and everybody knows, but with a vibration plate, there's several technical aspects that come into the recipe of what you're doing. It's never just one ingredient. But the big thing with oscillating movement and why I'm certified and own both vertical and oscillating equipment and many home machines as well. But what I can tell you is in my 20 years experience with the meanest equipment you can imagine side by side, 9 out of 10 people prefer oscillating. It's more naturally how we move across the floor. Generally speaking, it's more easily obtainable, meaning it's just more widely accessible because it's more preferred, but it's affordable. You don't need to spend a ton of money. A lot of people believe that you have to get the big bad Rumblex and have it all to get all the benefits. The benefits are the same as they are for exercise. The plate just does a little bit more in less time. If you really want to get into the scientific aspects of understanding how a vibration machine does all these wonderful things to our biology and even our mental health, research the health effects of gravity. A vibration plate superficially increases your exposure to gravity. I am not going to give that science lesson today. But everyone's tolerance is different, just like lifting weights. It's very much an individual thing about where you're physically starting, any deficiencies short term that may need to be managed. Maybe there's ongoing symptoms. So a vibration plate can be a fantastically phenomenal symptom management tool. If you're using it to manage symptoms, you got deficiencies and you're not quite ready for the fitness yet, more often in short, more frequent sessions. So 2 to 3 minutes when symptoms are kicking you in the butt and you need a fix. Fitness is a little bit of a different approach. And fitness, I mean things like weight loss, toning, strength gains, building muscular physiques. You got to do the right exercises. You do need to be consistent about them. The one benefit that happens regardless in the fitness realm, the reason I separate this one out, is bone density. So anytime you're doing some degree of mass, be that seated or standing, you are improving the bone density, but you can do a better job if you challenge yourself a little bit sooner. For those of you that are dealing with severe osteo, a lot of times short term, it's more about the falls and the balance and just addressing maybe some hurdles that may be holding you back from doing more effective exercises. And if you've got a fear of falling or you've had a fall and a break in the past, it's kind of scary getting back on the wagon because you don't want to have another incident. So a lot of people fear a vibration machine because, oh my goodness, it's like a Bosu ball and it's going to start seated, and even seated, that balance and stability is going to improve. And I think you'll be surprised how quickly. So again, I'm going to nag you to get it out of the box if you haven't already. If you're still shopping, where have you been? Get on it before the new year. It is technically the very last hours. If you have FSA, HSA spending in the States, you can do that direct through Lifepro. Up to 44% off site wide. There's still an awesome selection on vibration plates, other self-care tools, and combining them. I'm glad to see you here and committing before the new year, and I hope to keep you motivated going into 2026. Lisa Smith is here as well, watching from Southeast Iowa. You and Carol need to get together for coffee, getting ideas to help the arthritic knees. So with the knees, arthritic, to me, I believe that's toxicity, and improved circulation and lymph do a lot for that, but it's what the knee can tolerate. And the same tip, bring those feet closer, reduce the amount of intensity, the amount of movement, and start more conservatively, less time, and use it more often, maybe 2-3 sessions for 2 to 3 minutes versus one big long one. I see comments time and time again. I can only set the machine for 10 or 15 minutes. How do I go longer? And you got it yesterday. Why do you want to go? Why do you want to go longer? What are you trying to accomplish? And a lot of times we don't know, like, have you done any goal setting? Are we using this for bone density, weight loss? We usually have 1 or 2 reasons that motivate us and drive us towards using the technology. But I assure you, the sooner you get started, the more that evolves, just because this is where you started, those goals change and evolve as you progress. So consistency is the key. If there are any funky deficiencies or medical concerns, there's really no person on the face of the earth and no medical reason anyone can't use a vibration plate. It's not a yes or no. It's what are you doing on it? So when people say, well, can I use a vibration plate after I got a hip replacement? I don't have a hip ball. I don't have a crystal ball. When was the hip replacement? Did you have any complications? Are you in a wheelchair? Are you mobile? Was it 20 years ago? I need a little bit more intel. But generally speaking, even with the most severe of medical conditions, there's a way that you can modify and adapt, be it your exercises, manipulate the settings to get some self-care, some self-benefit, some recovery going. It's not always a big fitness thing. So if you are using a vibration plate with medical conditions, sometimes it's rare to find medical people that know about the vibration plate. So that is what myself, Amber, and Roseanne are here to do, is offer ideas. But we are not your doctor. We technically cannot offer medical advice, even though I sound like I do all the time. I'm just offering my experience, and I've been very fortunate to be submerged in the medical community for many, many years. And there's a lot of practitioners that bring experience to the table and are seeing some fantastic results. So if you have something funky and you're not finding it in the manual, please remember that the manual caters more to the general public, and Lifepro is just not in a position to offer medical advice, so that the contraindications and those things tend to be completely covered. My approach tends to be, as I said, more chronic need, more experienced in those areas. And my contraindications, there really are none. Once we have a conversation, 9 times out of 10, there's a way that we can modify what you're doing or how you use your plate so that you can gain the benefits that you're looking for. So I hope that helped. I am back here tomorrow. I may bump tomorrow's session to 6:30. It really kind of depends on how my day goes, but I will be here for tomorrow's final session, New Year's Day. I always do a lower body massage session. It's my favorite thing, and I like to show you some cool moves. For those of you looking for past sessions, please go into Lifepro's events page, or you'll see them in the feed. Recordings are on the page for 30 days, and then after that, they roll over to Lifepro's YouTube channel. So if you do have any questions, whether you're watching this now or perhaps later on a recorded basis, just tag me at Debbie with a Y, and I'll get the notification for sure. If you just make a comment, sometimes I don't get the notification because I do get a high volume of interaction on Facebook, especially at the new year. So I'm proud of you guys being here tonight. Get motivated before the new year. Drop the pressure. Do it for you. Don't do it for anybody else. And just start moving and feeling better. I wish you a better you for 2026, whatever that means. Better means something different to everyone. So if you need help picking the best plate for you, the best workout, the best way to approach any medical concerns, I'm happy to support you. Thank you for supporting me by attending tonight. And I look forward to seeing those of you that are able to join me tomorrow night as well. Saturday night, I don't know what I was thinking this week. Saturday night is my once a month open crash course. It's getting huger every month. There's more and more people attending. I think we went over 2.5 hours last time, but it was awesome. There were so many good questions, so much diversity in the members attending. If you're able to attend, that is scheduled this coming Saturday night, first Saturday of the month, every month since March. And you'll find the recordings for past sessions on YouTube as well. I'm going to drop a few more links in here for you guys. Some of my top sessions, ones I recommend if you're doing some homework, if you have questions, use or sales related. There's probably going to be some skeleton staff over the holidays here. Never hesitate to reach out. And if I have answers for you that I can support you with, I will. Have a great rest of your night, guys. Don't work too hard, and have a wonderful New Year's Eve. See you next year, guys.